Hello everybody and welcome to Carbondale. Corey Williams and Srigley rounding out the front row. We're getting to green flag racing real quick here. Green flag is out. And we are racing here at Carbondale. Corey getting out to a really nice lead early on. Srigley getting a good exit out of the corner, making his teammate follow him up there, but Fiegel, he's going to dive it down the inside. And he's going to try to take third place away from Noah Hart. Eric Burton back here with a great qualifying run in this number 54 UER car. They've been up and down this year. They've had some cup drivers sharing the ride with Jarrett Gross. And, yeah, these guys are just kind of doing their own thing, running in fourth place, trying to get it from Noah Hart now. But UER doing a great job this weekend so far. And Kukulon following closely behind him. Blaze McKinney also trying to follow Sebastian Kukulon up the field. Fellow Ford. I guess those guys work together pretty often. Who knows? Either way, Srigley trying to work to get up to Corey Williams, but it's just not working so far. Corey having an early advantage. And, yeah, so far it's just a little bit spread out. Kev Shearer started a little bit deep in the field, trying to make his way back up, trying to get to Cal Farrell, who started in 8th place and has already fallen down to 20th. That Red Bull car is just not getting in line and keeping ahead of these guys. But Kev Shearer has been making plenty of, excuse the voice crack, plenty of moves so far. And, yeah, RJ Bishop and Diego Yepes not running where they need to be, and Bobo Jones trying to chase down his championship rival and Kev Shearer, but I'm not sure if Bobo's really making any ground on Kev if he's running in 23rd, 24th place. So, yeah, not a really good day for our championship contenders so far, but Srigley, if he can win this race, could make up a bunch of ground on the guys in front and keep himself in that title hunt, just in case Kev Shearer has, you know, some poor or mediocre races in between now and the finale and shortens the point gap. He could mathematically be in the championship hunt if something were to happen. So Joseph Srigley trying to make up as many points as he can for Fisher Motorsports and himself. And speaking of someone trying to make up points for Fisher, Noah Hart running in 5th place. Look at those beautiful Dairy Queen colors right there in 5th place. There's not really anything to talk about right now. They're all single file, and I kind of expect this race to go green all the way. There's not really too much aggression throughout the pack. They're doing their own thing and saving their tires. And I don't know. I don't really think there's going to be too many cautions. I'm just going through the field right now and showing y'all where everybody's at. Aria Carmona starting 39th, and Brandon Crasta starting 36th, I believe it was. Up to 32nd, but definitely not the day Crasta was looking for in the CM bunch. They are aiming for way higher than that, for sure. And Julio Cesar is also aiming for way higher than that, but he's mired back here in the back of the pack. The practice and qualifying times were all spread out by about 3/10. So if you made any sort of mistake in qualifying, you were screwed for the race, essentially. So, yeah, these guys all back here doing their own thing and trying to conserve their tires. Want to give a shout out to Lane Sanders and Crossroads Racing. Unfortunately, they're in 41st, but this is their first season start, or their first career start, excuse me. Well, technically, both statements were correct, but first start in the Hardee's National Series for Crossroads Racing. Lane Sanders, he was in the number 60 Roush family Mustang at the start of the year. Things kind of fell out, and he is not in that ride anymore. And he has just qualified in on time for the number 30 team. So Lane doing a great job so far getting this car in the show, and Crossroads Racing definitely didn't expect to be in the field this week. So they were ecstatic to see that their 30 car just made the show. And Bo Cameron back here, just wanted to say that he's here. But Lane Sanders doing a pretty decent job. He's keeping it up here in 41st, and I'm sure Crossroads didn't even expect to be here this weekend. So 41st and first place, I don't think it really makes a difference for this team because they're just excited to be here. not really much going on the racetrack right now. It's just showing you the battle for 10th between Sean Angel and Gatlin Downey here. And as I predicted, I think these guys are kind of just going to be doing a single file race and trying to just, I don't know what they're doing. I have never seen this track before, except for the Sony Cup race and the truck race last night. But I'm not really sure what these guys are doing. If they're trying to get a strategy done or if they're just trying to save their tires. I'm not really sure, but they are not really making a lot of passes around here, and there's not much to talk about. So I'm just going to keep going through the field. Yeah. Not much to talk about, except for maybe even the leader, Corey, pulling away. He's been running really consistent lap times the last few laps. He's not even a second off of his fastest lap yet, and it's about lap 30. This is usually when these guys start falling off, about a second and a half, 2 seconds off. But Strigley and Fiegel, the rest of the top 5 are keeping up pretty well, but when you look a little bit further down, you start to see people dipping into the 3s, and that's about where they're normally running at when these tires start to kick in and get a little bit worn. So yeah, Corey and the rest of the field managing their tires very, very well and trying to just pull a gap, as he is continuing to do on the rest of the field. He's just not really pulling away from Strigley, but everyone else is not able to keep up with Corey. So I would imagine that Corey is either pushing really hard, or he's just been saving his stuff and keeping it in a window to where he can pull away and keep running the same lap times over and over again. So Corey Williams just using his experience to his advantage here for Curtis Racing and continuing to pull out a lead for these guys. Bobo Jones has been making some moves through the pack. If you remember earlier, he was about 24th place. Now he's up to 17th. I know it's not really the 16th now, but it's not really the best spot to be in. But honestly, he's making his way up to about some top 10 pace. So Bobo is actually managing his race insanely well. And the Rodriguez cars are very strong on short tracks and road courses, etc. So it makes sense that the 9 car is starting to cut his way through the field about now. Pit stops are going to be in about 20 or so laps, so we still got a while to go before anything interesting really happens during this race, because these guys are, I don't know, they're battling. Like Sean Angel's been kind of around 12th place for the entire race, and he's just been shuffling with everybody who's been 11th and 12th. So I'm not really sure what's been going on throughout the race in terms of position changes and battles and whatnot, because they've been single file for most of the race. But pretty much all they're doing is running around, making laps, trying to make it to the pit window. And when they make it to the pit window, hopefully things get a little bit closer and they figure out what's wrong with their setups. But as of right now, it's kind of boring. No other way to put it. It's just really boring out here. Sebastian Kukulon running in P8 for Hydra right now is a really, really good run that I haven't really highlighted so far, but this is a fantastic job from this young driver. This 7 car has had a kind of a, what you call it, a musical chairs driver lineup, where they kind of swap out young drivers every week, every couple of weeks, and see, you know, kind of who's the fastest and who can help the team the most. And right now, I guess Sebastian Kukulon's figuring out that he can help this team a lot, because he is in P8 for Hydra, and he is running ahead of Sean Angel and his teammate Jack Halleck right now. So I'm pretty sure he's ahead of every single one of his teammates in the Hydra stable, and that is honestly awesome for Kukulon. I hope Sebi keeps running well and he gets further inside this top 10, as Noah's running a little bit wide trying to follow Eric Burton, and that could open the door for Sebastian Kukulon. Who knows? But Noah Hart as well, having a pretty decent run. I'm sure he'd like to be running about 6 spots higher, but either way, you can't really be upset with a top 10 run. Scott Roush, after a few bad weeks, he has recovered very well into 4th place here and running where he would have liked to be running. He probably wanted to make a championship run this year, but that just never materialized. The luck and the reliability and just inconsistency has plagued CM this year, but Kev Shearer is really the only one who's been able to play into the inconsistency by being consistent. And that's why he's up here in, 22nd, and he's still leading the points by a substantial margin, because he always finds a way to make the best out of a bad situation. So Kev Shearer, that's why he's in a championship position and Scott Roush isn't. Just a lot less bad luck and a lot less bad finishes, really. I mean, that's the only way to put it, as Noah Hart is trying to get himself a not bad finish and go up into 5th place and past Bradley Bishop Jr., putting BBJ on the outside, last race winner. BBJ was ripping it around Homestead. That race was an absolute mess, but he managed to survive that carnage and win the race. And Noah Hart, his car's starting to look like it's coming alive a little bit, trying to get around Scott Roush, and I see the leader pitting. Corey Williams going into the pits, Srigley staying out. You see Scott Roush and Noah Hart pitting back there. So we're starting to get into the pit cycle, and something is finally happening in this race to where I don't have to make a little cut or anything. Joseph Srigley can just go on down into these pits, and I can watch him go on in here as he follows, who is that, Peter Onjak and Austin Miller is... Wow, that was a close call between the 12 and the 18. That was really, really close. But Srigley pulling it into the pits, Goss pulling it in as well back there, Ross Jackson. You see Kev Shearer pulling out of his pit stall. He had already come into the pits. And let's see where people come out at. We always usually skip ahead, but let's see where people come out at. Not Joseph Srigley, Nick Breeding and Gatlin Downey, are in 16th and 17th coming out of the pits, it looks like, but they're behind Scott Roush, actually, so they could be in the top 10, top 5. I'm not really sure where they could be at, but 3 might have had a bad pit stop. Yeah, the 3 did have a bad pit stop, actually, looking at it, so these guys are probably in the top 10. And Logan Cloud coming out of the pits, he's in the grass, and oh! Logan Cloud just wiped out Nick Breeding. Breeding pulling it into the pits, and the caution is going to come out, but what in the world did I just see? Cloud was coming out of the pits. He just drives in the grass and goes straight. If you watch this, I mean, yeah, he doesn't even turn. He just goes straight. It looks half intentional, but it looks like a mechanical failure as well. I'm not even really sure what that comes down to, honestly. That was very, very strange. Logan Cloud. I don't know if the FBRL officials are going to like that one. It looks semi-intentional, but these two didn't get into each other at any point. I don't really know. I'm not sure if Cloud was involved in that wreck at Homestead that Breeding started. I don't know. That just looked... that looked like it wasn't an accident, to put it into context. So we're going to go on board with Logan Cloud and see what he saw. On board with the 60 coming out of the pits just to see if we... Ooh. That was a weird jolt to the left. I just wanted to see if we could see anything abnormal. And yeah, that was definitely... I don't even know what caused that. So FBRL officials might look into that one. I'm not going to lie. So the field is sorted out and the caution was thrown. Logan Cloud was actually retired off the racetrack. So I don't know if what happened with that car, but we're green flag racing. Corey Williams leading the race and Joseph Srigley in second. And he almost hits the wall coming out of turn number 1, coming to turn 2. I believe this is one of 2 3-turn racetracks, I believe. If not, this track counts as, or this turn counts as 2 corners, but either way, I believe this might be the second 3-turn racetrack ever besides Pocono. So that is very, very interesting. I believe that's probably why we're going here. I'm not sure, but either way, it has not been a very eventful race. Wrigley trying to make the most out of it, going around the outside of Lane Sanders. He's a lap down. Same with Austin Miller after that amazing run last week. It just looks like this team did not capitalize off of that, and they missed the setup or did something today. I'm not sure what happened to this 18 car, but they are not on the pace, and they are not on the lead lap, that's for sure. Actually, he is on the pace because he just ran faster than Corey Williams, but he did not have a good start to this race for sure to be mired back there. Peter Onjak, I thought he was on the lead lap for a second. I was about to say something about that. He's got some damage on the left side of his door, and that's not too good, but I thought he was on the lead lap. I was about to say there's a Red Bull car in the top 10. Right now, Gatlin Downey going for the 44 down the inside, and Bobo Jones is following him with his teammate. Kev Shearer, Bobo Jones' championship rival, just 2 spots behind him. So like I said earlier about that being able to make the best out of a bad situation, Kev Shearer, man, he just knows how to cut through a field. I'm not really sure what these guys do, but they are so good at just being able to get through a race. So Kev Shearer 15th, but Bobo Jones in 13th right now. Or 12th, and 14th. I got that all wrong. As Gatlin Downey in the top 10, and the rest of these guys are just kind of racing it out. Kukulon going down the inside of Breeding, but Breeding's a lap down and holding up Noah Hart in the Fisher Motorsports car. And other than that, there's not too much going on. The field is starting to spread out a little bit here now that we've gone a few laps into the run, and Kukulon is up into 6th place behind Eric Burton. This is a really, really big deal for this guy to be having this good of a run today in this Hydra car. We know Hydra is not, not the worst car, but not the best car on the grid. So these guys are, to be in 6th place with Kukulon is just absolutely insane. I'm sure they were expecting to just finish the race today. But very, very good run for this 7 car, and a very good run for the 02 car as well today. I just want to point out Gatlin Downey making it in from go or go home qualifying, Fisher Motorsports car or not. Still a very good run for this 02 car to be up here with his teammates today. And he's ahead of Noah Hart, I believe. Yeah, Noah just kind of got stuck on the high side and fell back to 20th, being behind Breeding, and he is now behind Cole Baker, and he's got to make up all those spots that he just lost on the racetrack. And speaking of losing a spot on the racetrack, Will Goss and Jack Halleck going at it for 15th, 16th place? Yeah, 16th place. And Halleck has already completed the pass. Goss was going back at him and couldn't quite get to him. Speaking of couldn't quite get to him, Kev Shearer trying to fight on the outside, couldn't quite keep Jacob Hart down his inside, and Hart is now up into 12th. And trying to get down Hannah Allen's inside, trying to get into 11th as well. Doing a very, very good job out here. Jacob Hart has been. I don't know if he's returning to the series. He said he wants something competitive in the Sony Cup Series. But I'm not sure if he's returning to this series or not. We'll see in 2022, I guess. But it's very late in the year, and he has not announced anything. So we're not sure where Jacob Hart's going to go. And speaking of not sure where they're going to go, Bradley Bishop Jr., I'm not sure if he's got pace to pass Corey Williams. He's been kind of right on his bumper. And Miller's been the only thing keeping them separate, about 5/10 apart. But if Miller wasn't there, I believe BBJ would be a lot closer. So he's got to get by this 18 car, or this 18's got to get by this 14 car to let this 45 get by. And the 18's actually running some pretty consistent lap times, and they're actually faster than the leaders right now. So Corey might have ran up his stuff early. We got about 15, 16 laps to go. BBJ is all over Corey Williams. And Corey is just kind of doing his own thing. He's been up front all race. He had about a 3-second lead earlier, but now it's been extremely diminished. Everyone within about 2.5 seconds has a contention to win this thing, because I believe Corey's burnt his stuff and BBJ is playing the waiting game. So we'll see what BBJ does. I don't really know. BBJ is last week's winner, trying to make it 2 in a row, and he can definitely do it. I mean, he's just in a class of his own. Excuse my voice cracks today, by the way. I have a dry throat, so I shouldn't be commentating with a dry throat, but here we are anyways. And BBJ's throwing it down the inside, trying to get to Corey Williams. He's making a little teaser moves, I guess we should say. He's poking his nose, and he's not really doing anything with the run. But he might do something with it this time. He's going down the inside, and he's going to shove it down there on the exit. He got a really, really good exit, and Corey Williams is going to be running high. BBJ down the inside. Joseph Srigley, this is exactly what he wanted. So is he going to start pushing back there in third place? Doesn't look like it. BBJ actually cleared Corey before the end of the final corner. Coming to about 12 laps to go. Here BBJ is absolutely killing it out here. And the 45 team, if they can keep this lead, this will be 2 race wins in a row, and this will be his 5th win of the season. 5 wins in the Hardee's National Series is absolutely insane, considering the 2017 champion only won 2 races. So winning 5 races and not even winning the championship, I don't know what happened to this guy. He has been incredibly inconsistent, I guess, if he's not a title contender right now. Because this final part of the season for BBJ has been so impressive. He just keeps leading laps and making moves at the end of the race that just works out for him. He doesn't even have to lead the whole race. He just leads a few laps and he'll win the race. So BBJ doing an insane job out here in the last part of the season. Corey Williams has been keeping up with him, doing great. Srigley up and down, just either a really good week or a really bad week. There's no in between. I'm sure he's tired of it, and he just wanted to make a charge at Kev Shearer, but just certain things out of his control might have prevented that from happening. But he's going to get a good finish today, so we'll see how the points are looking after today, as we're just going to go find Shearer. He is in 7th place, so he's not that far behind. So Srigley in the cockpit, he might be thinking he had a great points day, but he barely made any ground on Kev Shearer. And Shearer has made a really good comeback today from being in 25th-ish spot at the beginning of the race to being ahead of his teammates at 7th place. That is the definition of an amazing drive right there, as he is going down the inside of Kukulon and Roush down the inside of Yepes, and he's going to get that spot away from him. Jacob Hart making another spot inside the top 10. He was in 10th place, and now he's going to be in 9th. So Diego Yepes is going to have to fend off the Hungry Lions trying to get a top 10, because Ross Jackson, Jack Halleck obviously are battling, and they're trying to get past these two. So, yeah, these guys are basically like Hungry Lions to Yepes, and he's just got to keep him back for about 6 more laps. The laps are winding down very, very quickly here. You can see all the guys having a great run in the mid-pack. I'm going to just take you down the order once more and show y'all where everybody's at. The field is shuffling quite a bit. Nick Breeding's a lap down, but I'm sure you will see that when I scroll down the ticker another time. So he is not battling for position. Brandon Crasta is not battling for position right now, but he is in 26th and wishes he was battling for something better. Not a good run for this 18 today. The 11 is at I think he DNQ'd last week, and he was first in practice, so that was an insane rebound for this team. Kind of showed up and made a statement, but there in 28th kind of brought him back down to earth a little bit, I guess. I'm not sure what happened, but I think being 28th is better than DNQing, so JSR will take it right now. But not really the best run for this 11 team. Bo DeCameron in 29th, just making laps. I don't know if he's a young or an old driver, but I don't really see his name too often. So good to see Bo in the race. Patrick Smith in 30th, and just getting back to the cars that are on the tail end of the lead lap. And Arya Carmona and Edward Ziemba are the last 2 cars in the lead lap. So Corey Williams doing his thing. Or wait, not Corey Williams. Bradley Bishop Jr. doing his thing on the white flag of this race. So BBJ kind of came out of nowhere in this one. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really see him winning this race, but he kept it up there all day and put himself in a position to win. BBJ coming into the last corner behind Edward Ziemba. And BBJ is going to win here at Carbondale. Corey Williams coming home second. You see the ticker in the finishing results. Kev Shearer actually got all the way up to 6th place. Wow, that was a great drive from him. And you see the rest of the field crossing the start-finish line. I just went over a lot of those spots, but they might have changed already with how racy they were getting at the end, and there wasn't much to run home about that race. It was kind of just a middle of the road short track race, if you can excuse my hiccups there for a second. Middle of the run short track race. And there weren't a lot of cautions. We only had the incident with Breeding and Cloud. Unfortunately for Breeding, he just kind of got screwed over there. And I don't know what's going to happen to Cloud. We'll see what the FBRL officials say after the race. But I think that it was an alright race. It was boring and nothing really happened. So I'll see you guys in the next race. And until then, the results are going down your screen. And the burnout will be shown on your screen as well. And you guys have a good day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.